Okay, well, welcome to another edition of Mining Now, and I'm excited to be joined by Anoush Ebrahimi, who's principal consultant with SRK, and I'm familiar with SRK, so I'm interested in what the group is doing and getting an update. But first of all, I want to hear a bit about yourself. What's been your journey to where you are today in your consulting and dealing with young people in their industry?
Yeah, I'm a mining engineer by training and by experience. I am with SRK since 2010 as an associate, and then since 2013 as a full-time employee. And what I do is simply surface mine planning and design, and I do evaluation, I do due diligences, and from very conceptual studies to detailed studies and construction. We also do the optimization, means that operating mines, if they need any help to optimize some part of their operation, we help them to improve, some aspects that they have problems. Um, so that's main part of our work. And in our team, we have a big, pool of different
It's a
professionals.
big group.
Yeah, so we cover almost everything: mining, geology, geotech, and geoenvironment, permitting, you name it. Anything that is related to mining industry, we cover it. We have offices around the world. Here in Vancouver, we have a big office, actually very close to this convention, with a good view.
Yeah, well, that's always a plus. And and so I mentioned before, I am familiar with SRK, have done work with them before, and but I wasn't too aware of the history. And I'm looking, it's 50 years.
That's
The
correct.
company's
Yeah.
celebrating now.
Yes. Yeah. We started this SRK started in 1975 in South Africa, and then just a year or two after moved to actually open the office here in Vancouver.
Yeah,
And since then, it's been a big player in mining consultancy in town here in Vancouver
yeah.
and in general in Canada.
So I did notice you hosted a short course. Did you at the convention? When I heard about the course, I thought I'm on a couple of boards and typically board of directors, there are one or two technical people, but there are others that aren't as
I
familiar
see.
with the actual mining,
Mm.
but with other important things about mining in terms of finance, in
Of
terms
course,
of
yeah.
other and governance. But when I saw that course, I thought there's a few board members that could use that course.
Yeah, that's actually is the fact that
Yeah.
this Saturday in my course there were three, four of those type of people,
Oh, okay.
people
Yeah. Very
from
good.
yeah, and
Well, I want to go back because I made a note of your gold mine is not a chest of treasures. That caught my ear and eye. I may be paraphrasing here, but the way notes I wrote down, deposits are found, but mines are built. And you know what I thought about? I thought about engineering being called applied science, and the way we build mines is applied science.
it is, yeah,
Uh,
it's applied science. In that phrase, I'm actually talking about that treasure island, saying that fixing people's view
their
on mining.
perception of yeah,
Yeah, that you don't really simply just find a valuable stuff, below ground and just digging it. There are lots of technical aspects into this. So basically, we turn a dirt to a valuable stuff for sale.
yeah,
And if you make a mistake, you may turn it the other way around.
yeah.
A good thing to turn it bad. And how you do it step by step is important to understand what steps you need to take to really make it happen, make it a success. Plus that you maximize the profit that you
Yeah.
can draw from this property. So
Let's talk about our heavy industry world tour brought to you by Savannah Equipment, supplying mining equipment worldwide. And Corporate Traveler Canada, helping companies travel the globe simpler, faster, easier. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsman.com to be part of Crownsman's Heavy Industry World Tour. Use drone data to map, measure, and manage your work sites with survey-grade accuracy. Propeller transforms your photogrammetry and LiDAR surveys into a realistic, interactive 3D map. That map is where collaboration happens and accuracy wins every time. It's a cloud-based workspace for project teams to measure and manage their reality in real time from any device. With survey data, designs, measurements, and media in one place, the right data is always ready to go. It's time to replace rework with great work and make great work the status quo. Visit propelleraero.com to learn more. CIM is Canada's leading technical institute dedicated to the sustainability of our industry. Members enjoy professional growth opportunities through CIM libraries, publications, webinars, societies, and the job board. Experience the CIM community firsthand at the Conference of Metallurgists August 19th to 22nd, ICARD September 16th to 20th, and the CIM Health and Safety Conference October 6th to 8th. Visit CIM.org for more information and join CIM today.
Well, that segues into a question I had for you, because you've been in this business for a while. We're not going to mention dates or ages, but you've been in this business for a while, and we've seen things changing.
Yes.
What have you seen change? Like in the work SRK does, there's probably different areas of focus that maybe 20 years ago weren't even on the list.
Yeah, that's true. There are lots of things changing. You know, from 20 years ago, 25 years ago, as everyone, we noticed it actually affected our daily life as well. Electronics, internet, and, remote sensing and this stuff. It really changed the way we mine. Yeah. We now monitor and we collect more data. We analyze data more, faster. Yeah. And so those are the aspects that we didn't have it, and now we can take advantage of that, and actually we are using it. That's one thing. Another thing is that every single design we do is something that we learn from, and we can apply that one in other projects. I developed my own tool to calculate variable dilution. So 20 years ago, what we did, we knew that dilution is there, but it's difficult to measure it, control it. So I developed my own way of developing variable dilution, which helps to enhance the estimation we do in the early stage, or helping the operating mind to control their grade sending to mill.
Well, dilution, I always find that interesting, because grade is often a debate between geologists and mining engineers. And mining engineers don't like to say that dilution is what's lowering the grade. It's the geologist's fault. But dilution is probably a far bigger deal than most people originally think. Usually there's a number, and then the feasibility is based on that. Mm-hmm. But if that number changes, or if mining isn't done as per plan, or you run into some different conditions, dilution can have a major impact on your bottom line.
I agree. I think dilution, there are different type of dilution.
Depending on the mining method too.
Exactly.
Of course,
yeah. So we have internal dilution, we have external dilution. Usually geologists, they perfectly taking care of the internal dilution, using the composite.
They find the reserve, we ruin it.
Yeah.
Is that
no. But based on really the scale of wine, if bigger the scale of operation is, the more dilution you may have. Yeah. But dilution is also depends on the ore body, and dilution is there in open pit, because we don't really mine by a spoon. Yeah, you mine by shovels.
It's mass.
It's mass. So it depends on. My point about dilution is that we have to really, first of all, understanding it, being able to measure it, to see really how much is it. Most of the people, they try, the last thing we should do is to ignore it.
And it's not a rule of thumb number either.
No.
I find that people like to say, well, in this type of mining, this is the percent of dilution you get. And that's a dangerous assumption.
It is. It is. You know, if you look, actually, last year I did a good study looking at the, feasibility studies that done in past 5 years, and I noticed majority of actually technical studies they use just a global dilution, whereas it's very obvious that dilution is not really a fixed number. It changes based on the shape of the ore body, and in different zones they have it. So we encourage people to apply variable dilution in their studies, and this can be really huge. I mean, uh, dilution can vary even in open pit between a few percent to maybe 20%, 30% even sometimes, and that changes the way you see the value inside your ore body. Lots of operating mines, they have issues with reconciliation.
Yeah.
What you plan and what you really achieve, they don't match most of the time. And
Yeah. Neither does your smelter return, which is
exactly,
another factor.
yeah. So there are many,
Yeah.
parameters that affects the reconciliation.
Yeah.
I mean, by itself is a different discussion we can have, but dilution is a big part of that. That because we don't understand dilution well, so what you plan uh, using a fixed dilution perhaps is not the right way of doing it, and that contributes into the reconciliation issues usually we have. So, having said that, is that in our team, including myself, I do a couple of studies every year just to help mining operation to figure out about the reconciliation issues they have.
Yeah.
So, what are the causes of reconciliation issues and how we can improve it?
Yeah.
This is by itself is really interesting, fascinating area, multiple variables, and so we look at those variables and including dilution, which usually is a big one.
Capital Limited are a leading global mining services provider with expertise across the entire mining value chain. Their end-to-end services include exploration and production drilling, in-surface and underground operations, load and haul, as well as assay laboratories. For 20 years, they have delivered best-in-class safety performance, professionalism, and reliability to customers worldwide. Capital have recently expanded into the Americas, where they continue to deliver the highest standards of excellence in mining services. Learn more at capdrill.com. MineTech helps mine sites like yours improve their safety, profitability, and compliance with world-class sound attenuation, water management, underground ventilation, and electrical solutions, enabling their customers to make and save millions of dollars through increased production, limited downtime, automation, and reduced energy consumption. Relied upon by more than 3,200 sites across 25 countries, their global team is standing by to offer end-to-end support and custom solutions for noisy mining machinery, toxic mine water of all qualities, metalliferous underground ventilation, and evolving electrical needs. Learn what MineTech could do for your site. Visit minetech.com/innovation.
So I'm gonna go back in time now. I told you I'm an underground guy, but I worked at Equity Silver as a student at the pit in near Smithers, and my thesis was on cutoff grade using break-even analysis, and actually used a computer. It wasn't a slide rule, but it was a while ago, and more recently I'm on the board of Torex, which has a large open pit operation in Mexico, and I see more and more people looking to optimization either through cutoff grade or other methods. So you mentioned optimization. I'm interested to learn more about that.
Yeah, that. What is cutoff grade? Cutoff grade is a grade that you do something below and you do completely different things above. And depends on what that function is, you define the cutoff grade.
It doesn't mean this is ore and this isn't. There's more shades to it than that.
So cutoff grade is a way we mining engineers use to be selective, to select ore.
Yeah.
And then, depends on the mine. If your property has a long tail of low grade, then cutoff grade analysis can be very important. And because a big factor in calculating cutoff grade is the price, and we all know that the price changes periodically every month. So you need to have a good understanding how the value of your inventory changes by working on your cutoff grade.
And
That's one thing.
designing in some flexibility as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another big thing that is really related to this, and usually we don't see it, that is developing stockpiling policy. So you
Yeah.
have to really develop a good stockpiling policy that links between the economy, which is your cutoff grades, and really the properties of your resource model.
Yep.
So if you have long tail of low grade, then how you handle this not to lose value.
Yeah.
So you really need to develop a policy for stockpiling so that in long term you can, basically get benefit of those.
Yeah. Well, your stockpile could be ore, or it could be waste in the
Could be
future.
waste.
And
The
you're
good-
hoping it's ore. So I'm going to switch gears now, and let's talk about young people. We know
Yes.
there's a challenge in the industry in terms of attracting people to the industry. The schools, enrollment is down a bit in many of the mining schools.
Yeah.
There's two questions here. One is about SRK and one is about you personally. Let's talk about
Yeah.
young people.
Yeah, personally, I was, interested always in teaching because by teaching I learn as well. I organize myself. I try to, basically frame what I learned, and that helps me shape my future. But yeah, in terms of education in SRK in general, we have programs for training, and we on the side for training of internal training, and also training the our clients and younger people. This course I did is one of this. I'm involved with universities in Canada, especially here with UBC and BCIT. I try to help them. For past 2-3 years, I had a graduate student that was actually I was working with her to develop models for dilution studies.
Okay.
So and she just graduated this January. So that type of work we do. But I agree with you that enrollment in mining programs are declining, and less and less people are interested to become mining engineer. And I blame that one. If you don't mind, I want to go a little bit further. I blame really
blame it on it. Yeah.
public education.
Yeah.
What I mean is that in Canada, we don't have much about mining or geology in public educations.
Yeah.
How much our kids they learn about geology or mining in high school or elementary?
Yeah.
If we talk about mining, even if there is a word, is negative.
Yeah.
It says about destroying environment and this stuff. But this is not quite right. Yeah. I mean, as mining engineer, I believe that wherever we have been, we made a good impact, a positive impact, creating wealth, protecting environment. So I mean, we should pass that stage now and try to bring the mining geology education into the public so that they can get interested and then to come into the mining industry. So that's the fundamental issues that we have in North America, and especially in Canada. We should solve that.
But what's really encouraging, what you're doing, and often it's difficult to get that industry academia connection and engagement. But you're doing it.
We are doing it, yes. I mean,
that's great to see.
Every year we have lots of co-op students in our office for different disciplines, and we help them. And we actually hire sometimes new students, new graduates, and train them. And we provide an environment that they can go actually and learn from sites. That's another thing. We actively are engaged with universities. I am myself and my colleagues, individually different people.
Yeah. Now we've focused or talked a fair bit on the technical aspects, but probably the social aspects have changed. Well, I shouldn't say more, because the technology we're using is really advancing quickly, but the social aspects have changed in a very different way to the technology when we're developing new mines.
Yes, yeah. I think now, you can, drive a truck from the comfort of your office.
Yeah,
So that's completely different environment. So
yeah,
that's one aspect of that.
yeah,
Another aspect is that now we see more female in the
yeah.
mining industry.
Well, like you said, when I go and talk to some of the schools, and I hate to admit this on camera, I probably learn more than the students do. I'm almost like talking historically, and then they're telling me what they're doing now, and it's fascinating because things are changing.
Yeah,
I think the 40 to 20 years ago, things changed a bit, but the last 20 years, the change has accelerated,
a lot.
and it still is
Yeah.
now.
And another thing actually I want to add here is that not all those changes are, you know, 100% positive, and we have to control the changes. One of the important items that I see that really is an issue is that uh, very quickly we moved from designing a mine using our hands. I designed the first gold mine in 1991 by my hand. It took me 6 months.
A long time.
Yeah.
By
So
today's
now
standards,
we
a
do it
long
very
time.
quick.
Yeah,
And because we have good tools, why
yeah,
not? I mean, it helps us to do a better job
yeah,
and faster. But the problem is that, the young engineers, they learn mining via this new,
yeah,
tools we have. And that's not enough.
yeah,
You have to see what is happening behind, and we have to make sure that we are using right tools
yeah,
and we understand the outcome.
yeah,
Garbage in, garbage out. And
yeah.
so that's more and more I see that, young
Yeah.
engineers, they learn it, and it's very common that if you ask them, why is that? They say, because computer says that, you know.
Is that a bit of a, when I was in school, we had summer jobs in the mines, uh, and I got out of school and worked in the mine. Is it just that lack of exposure? Because if you don't have that exposure to, uh,
The real operation.
yeah, real operation, then you fall back on what you have, which is technology.
That's correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, the other thing that I recognize from my career in contracting is you deal with all kinds of different clients, and you see all kinds of different mines, and you see the best and the worst. And consulting is the same. If you're in an operation, you learn everything about that mine. But
yeah.
if you're in consulting, I mean, you must have. I'm not going to guess how many mines you've seen in your
No, yeah,
career, but
yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's actually a very good point.
yeah,
One of the reasons that I actually I'm doing consulting is because of this.
yeah,
It's a challenging work, but I like it.
yeah.
Every month or every few months you do a new project and you go visit new mines and
You
operations.
travel all
And
over.
from each of
Yeah,
those you learn something new,
yeah.
and then you can apply your knowledge on the new project that you see.
So I'm going to ask you to, as we wind up, anything you want to leave with the audience, any final words you want to leave us with?
You have my contacts there. So if anyone has any questions, please reach me. And I'm always available, not just for business. If you want to, have a question, I'll be happy to share. That's really, I want to thank you so much for having me, and hope it was a really a good conversation.
I enjoyed our
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
conversation and really appreciate your knowledge sharing at CIM and with young people. So, so we've been chatting with Anoush Ebrahimi of SRK, and thank you to our audience for attending another very interesting session of Mining Now.